Going back to Martin Fowler, my hatred of him has got me blocked by many people, and you know what? Fair, because I was trolling a little bit, just a little bit. I was being problematic for once, but at the same time, there's no hate there, because at the end of the day, it's all love, it's all in jest. You know, in real communities, we have beefs with people when other people disagree, we all kind of start fighting each other. It is what it is. There are some issues with the EastEnders community, and I think if you are part of it and you know, it's part of every soap fandom, but I think it's worth pointing out that, you know, that if it's reflective of British society, what is going on currently in British society? Some storylines are easier to talk about than others. I think because racism is talked about in the EastEnders fandom, and I don't want to dismiss that, but a lot of the big talking heads around the fandom, they have a very limited idea of certain topics that might be a bit complicated, that might threaten sort of the white peace that comes with EastEnders, the British culture that comes with it. I don't want this video to be too long, but if I were to quickly give you an example, there's a character called Anthony Trueman, who, rest in peace, he also died in Christmas of 2025, I believe. And he was a complicated character. He was a very campy character, and it gave some fabulous one-liners, and just have the best facial expressions. But the EastEnders writers failed to give him the depth that would allow a audience to understand his plight, whether it is right or wrong. They were trying to tell a complicated storyline to a British audience who maybe doesn't have the biggest understanding of complicated aspects of blackness. Do you know what? Even to be fair, I don't think that just British people TM were ready for Anthony Trueman, because Anthony Trueman was always the villain. He was always problematic, and because he fooled the square in this sort of docile, yes, I'm the doctor and whatever, he's still a Trueman, and Truemans unfortunately do have a bit of a temper on them, and a bit of an ego, and a bit of a sense of entitlement, and Anthony's always had that. At the same time, he is so important, he's such an important story to tell, because he mimicked sort of the incel nature we see with people like Tory Lanez, like Jason Lee. There's this entitlement of like, I deserve you, and the fact that I can't have you, and you know, you don't want my attention, it frustrates me. And again, we didn't ever ask why, we just accepted that he was the villain, and he got killed off unceremoniously by Zionists. But we don't mention her in these videos. In short, the EastEnders community has just this really weird thing of racism, and I don't really like it, because it means talking about storylines becomes harder, and I think sometimes it feels like you're reaching but you really ain't, and sometimes it feels like you're doing the work that the writer should be doing. Not that I'm telling anyone how to do their jobs, but it just feels a little bit juvenile at times. The second issue that I'll get to is, again, it's reflective of British society, and it means that certain storylines... Is it strange to say that I do believe that EastEnders is a project of the state? Because yeah, it's on the BBC, so obviously, but like, I do feel like it's a little bit of a psyop, but sometimes. It's a weird thing to say that I love this show that I think is a psyop. It's, in a way, propaganda, but I don't know, I guess it's propaganda. I don't know how to explain it, because it's 9 PM and I'm really hot. In short, EastEnders has this way of interpreting situations that are going on in Britain at the time, whether they be just mundane or really serious, and sometimes it just mimics what the government's saying. So, okay, let's take an easy one, COVID. A lot of soaps do storylines where after either the second or third lockdown, certain characters started having OCD. They got diagnosed with I think was it Munchausen's? I can't remember. They got diagnosed with conditions that mean they were scared to go outside, and oh my god, illness was everywhere. Now, I'm not mimicking that because that was a real thing. However, it is quite interesting that these storylines happened to coincide with Boris Johnson, Keir Starmer, and oh yeah, I forgot about Rishi Sunak. All of them sort of trying to convince the general public that it was safe to go outside, whilst they were also saying let the bodies pile up. I find that pretty fucking convenient. But every soap does that to a certain extent. Emmerdale, for some reason, loves generative AI. I don't fucking understand it because you're on a fucking farm. Look after your fucking sheep and don't use fucking generative AI, you weirdos. Or am I thinking of Corrie? Both of them do it, to be fair. ITV is a very strange place, and I'm new to that fandom. I don't really get what's going on there. But yeah, it is sometimes propaganda, and it's very hard to swallow at times. Sometimes it's funny propaganda, because there was a storyline about bins, and I actually feel like that was related to something that happened in the UK. I will always love soaps. I think soaps, for me, as someone who has a complicated relationship with the word housebound at the moment, but we'll get to that another day. I love being able to almost, I don't want to say that EastEnders is my way of getting back to normal, but EastEnders is my way of building a connection.